It was a crisp autumn morning in 2001. On this day, a 6-month-old baby girl who was status 1 on the liver waiting list had less than 24 hours to live. Her family was holding out hope that this would be the day of her rebirth, a chance at life. As the first few rays of sun were lighting up the sky on September 11th, the staff at Texas Children's Hospital were told that a liver had become available for baby Karina. As hope began to fill the hearts of Karina's family, tragedy struck. The terrorists attacked. No one was allowed in the air. The precious liver, a gift of life, was grounded. Americans soon became aware of the hundreds of lives lost when the terrorists crashed into the Twin Towers. But no one suspected that the terrorists were claiming another innocent victim in Texas, a baby who needed a liver in order to live.
Obviously around her birthday, around September the 11th, which was the day that she had the transplant, around times when I see patients, adults usually, that have had transplants, it comes back to me. When I see sick patients of my own that need transplants, it comes back to me. The shortage of donor organs, as so many of our patients are currently waiting for organs. And so I guess, apart from just the important dates in Karina's life, it's those other job-related awakenings that bring me back to think about her liver, the donation that helped her, and the very fact that she's still with us.
Well, in the beginning, I mean, after she was very sick before her transplant, obviously, and we were in the hospital waiting.
Kieran was in the hospital with Karina, and I was at home looking after Jasleen and also going to work. And then Kieran called me on September the 11th morning and said, "There's a donor. Karina can have a liver." And I was driving to work, and obviously at that stage we were thinking each day was going to be her last day. And I felt that we had some hope. And then 5 or 10 minutes later she called me back saying the news that she heard, and she asked me to put the radio on in the car, and then we found out what happened. It just felt like that our situation was just a very, very small part in this big tragedy that was going on. And a part of me told me that these attacks had taken another life. On the other hand, I heard that they were still trying, and I hoped that they'd be able to get delivered down to Houston. But there was that feeling inside that they've already taken so much away from us as a country, and that they were probably going to take one more life with them. And so it was our very own personal grief on top of our grief with everybody else about what had happened.
But how many thousands just lost their lives that maybe, I wouldn't say that, it just helped to put it in perspective, and perhaps made us more likely to accept what was going to happen, that it just wasn't meant to be.
And it was just incredible when we heard that the National Guard were going to bring in the organ. And that's when I went straight to the hospital to join Kieran.
You know, the efforts that went on at all levels within the system, we found out about afterwards, and definitely I think there was a sense that, you know, they're not going to take one more life, and we're going to do whatever we can to save this one life, because it is something that is under our control and we'll make it happen. So that definitely came across afterwards.
I mean, having gone through the process, having gone through the roller coaster ride, and seeing just the high quality of personnel that are involved in this, My view has changed from somebody who supported organ donation and thought it was a good idea to somebody who is much more strongly in favor of organ donation. I just have an awful lot of respect for these personnel and just ask them to carry on doing what they're doing, because I mean, for every one time that they're successful, I know they're unsuccessful as well.
The job that the transplant coordinators do is unimaginable, really. I have a lot of respect for them, that they're able to go to people, you know, in the tragic circumstances, and it takes a lot, I think, to talk to someone about the other side of coming through the grief and thinking about how something good can come of it, when I mean, the circumstances are usually very tragic and sudden. So I have a lot of respect. What they do is extremely important. For every success they have, there may be 3, 4, 5 or more lives that are touched and saved. So yeah, it's so critical what we do, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for what you have been able to do for us and for thousands of people every year. I would like to thank all the professionals that are involved in the different phases of this, because it's one of the few, I think, professions where you really do make a massive difference. So I commend and applaud you all.
For Karina's family and many Americans, September the 11th is a day that will never be forgotten. We are all united in sorrow, and we can all share in the resounding victory that we experienced as our everyday heroes emerged.